Okay, let's come now to the last part of this webinar. And I turn the floor to Thierry Lepage because we at least going to discuss HyDeal initiative. So in secret for 2 years, many key players have been working together. So can you please explain us what HyDeal is all about?
HyDeal brings about 40 companies from across the value chain, which share the same ambition and the same vision, is to make hydrogen at scale at a competitive price. And then again, it's very clearly defined as 1.5 euro per kilogram delivered. Why? Because that's where industry, where off-takers in energy or even in mobility want to buy the product. And if we want to sell our product, we cannot do it without having customers. That's an issue. You know, if you don't have customers, it's an issue. So who's behind that? You have a combination of solar developers, including my own company. There's a newly founded company, DH2 Energy, which is a solar, Madrid-based solar company that has secured 10 gigawatts of projects in Spain right now, and is engaging into not only project development but also marketing that hydrogen to off-takers. But we have other solar developers from Tunisia, from France, from Italy. We have electrolyzer OEMs. We have mostly, European companies. We have McPhee, we have John Cockrell, and some others. We have engineering companies, Technip and Vinci, among others. And then we have gaseous. So it's fundamental here. You know, upstream is very important. Midstream is critical. And infrastructures, as was underlined, is really fundamental. Infrastructures means transmission and storage. So we have Enagas, we have GRT Gas and Terega in France. We have Snam from Italy and OG from France, from Germany. And then we have off-takers. We have Repsol, we have Naturgy, we have that's in Spain. We have, most importantly, also, as well, steel companies like ArcelorMittal. We have BASF and many other companies. EPH, a very large power company as well. And then we have infrastructure funds, and the European Investment Bank is part as well of this work. What has been done for the last year? All these people have worked to design a system that can produce and deliver the hydrogen at the right price, and to resolve, to work on solving all the issues, which are how do you get the product and where? You know, I gave you the reason why Spain, or potentially Spain, Portugal, and potentially Morocco and Tunisia are the only options if you want to produce the product at the right price. But obviously, then the question is, where do you get the gigawatts of electrolyzers? The goal of HyDeal is to reach 3.6 million tons of hydrogen delivered by 2030. 95 gigawatts, so it's close to it's an 80 billion euro project. So it's pretty big project. It's not one single project. It's more the aggregation of different projects and converging into a vision. And then we need to overcome the issue of the deployment of infrastructures. The European hydrogen backbone here is absolutely essential. Announcements were made just a couple of weeks ago regarding the deployment of 40,000 kilometers of dedicated hydrogen pipes. That's going to be absolutely instrumental in making this project work, because you want to bring the very, very cheap hydrogen from Spain and Portugal to off-takers in Germany, for instance. There is immense demand in Germany for that Spanish and Moroccan hydrogen. And by the way, it will go through France or Italy, both ways. So that's where off-takers, and then most importantly, the story that is being built right now, it has a local story as well. But when you think about a steel company that says, I'm going to put billions of euros in different plants to convert my steel mills to DRI, direct reduced iron. We're talking about for each steel plant between 1 and 3 billion euros of investments to make those plants not close, like they risk being closed in 5 or 10 years from now, because of the carbon emission, but something which will produce zero carbon steel. There's an example outside HyDeal recently with SSAB, which announced the production of green hydrogen to supply to Volvo to make hydrogen zero carbon cars. customers want today, they want 100% zero carbon product. They want zero carbon power on a 24/7 basis, not just part of the time, and they want it in a affordable way. So this downstream thing and how we bring together the key value chain players of the downstream and turn European industry, which is suffering so much today, chemicals, steel are suffering, companies are being closed. We have an opportunity of industrial revival. So the message behind HyDeal is not just like, let's go mass scale. It is, we can revive our local territory, not with government money, that won't do the job. We can revive it with industry, good, old, dirty, if I may say, industry that we forgot about. You know, we thought that now it was best to produce handbags. You know, France is the #1 country in the production of handbags and perfumes. This is fine. We need better, and we cannot just say that Europe is going to be a province of luxury goods and industry will go to China. We have to re-industrialize, and what we're doing at HyDeal, based on a number of projects, the steel mill in Spain, we're talking about the light hydrogen in southwestern France to produce power from green hydrogen. It is this industrial revival, which fundamentally needs a business model and needs the financing. So there again, Etienne, we're going to need your support in all these projects because there's plenty of business opportunities. So let's have a conversation. There are plenty of projects, of sub-projects within HyDeal, which are concrete projects, which are now emerging, which bring together upstream, midstream, and downstream, and which are going to show the world that industry can be done in Europe. We don't need just to stay put, you know, and go for luxury products and tourism in Venice and the rest. We can do better. We can do heavy industry, and we can do it here in Europe.
So Pierre-Etienne, maybe the first investment could be done in HyDeal?
Well, this is sure that we absolutely need to get a better view of the situation. The only topic is to make sure that we don't go into pricing. We are not going to make any profitability for the project. So this is the big topic.
Okay.
Instead, we will of course discuss with Thierry in the near future, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you. One word, François, to see about the importance of supplying green electricity in order to get some massive green hydrogen.
Yeah, just as you understood, you understand that my philosophy and the philosophy in EDF is not what Thierry mentioned a bit before. We obviously do not do the same mathematics. Let's say the balance in economy is that do you have to transport the molecule or do you have to transport the electricity? If you transport the molecule, you can have, let's say, at scale sites with big electrolyzers. If you transport the electricity, you can get the benefit from the very low cost on transportation of electricity. That means that in Europe, you don't pay for the transport of electricity depending of the number of kilometers you do with the electricity. You just pay for the point of consumption you have. That means that transporting electricity does not rely on the number of kilometers you do. That's why our view is that you just have to put the electrolyzer quite, let's say, in quite proximity with the consumers. And then if you have to transport the molecule, depending the kilometers, that's on the finally smaller areas. So we don't do the same math, obviously, than Thierry. And the second point, which is your point, Laurent, if you put electrolyzer near the consumers, how do you bring green electricity to the electrolyzers? So this is what I said. You have to combine to bring, let's say, low cost and stable cost electricity to this electrolyzer, you have to combine green electricity coming from France, probably local areas, because today's you have to combine both to be eligible for public aids, and probably also areas where specific plants, I don't know, hydro plants, waste plants, and so on, near the electrolyzer. You combine all that in a contract. That means that you don't build renewable energy for hydrogen. You have renewable energy everywhere in Europe, and tons of renewable energy. So you have that, but you combine contracts with many electricity producers, and you bundle that with balancing electricity facility to provide the good energy supply to the electrolyzer next to your consumer.
François, thank you for this comment.
I think let's be clear. I mean, the cost of transmitting molecules is 10 times less than an electron. 10 times. The cost of storing a molecule is 1,000 times less than storing an electron. These are facts. These are facts. This is not an opinion. These are facts. This is the reason why we import natural gas from Siberia, 5,000 kilometers away, through pipes. We don't have the Siberian dams supplying power to Europe, because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work economically. It wouldn't work technically. So we have to wake up to this, is that moving electrons is a very bad idea. And you know what? It won't happen, because the economics are not there. So if we're stuck in this, we're going to be the losers, the absolute losers. Europe has to wake up. Europe has to go for numbers. Today, there is an absence of looking at actual numbers, and these are facts.
Just two facts.
We'll organize maybe next debate between you about this point. But I'm sorry, but we have to conclude. And for the last time, we're going to join Bruno Jamet to see if we have some questions from the audience. Bruno? Please.
Yes, though there's no more question, but I would like, I really appreciate the discussions, even if people don't always agree, and also when it's not mainstream thinking, that's okay for me. So thank you to everyone.
Okay, so let's come to the conclusion right now. Thanks again for all the speakers for being here with us. It's been very interesting, very rich discussion.